Hi everyone, hope you all are doing well. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope you are thoroughly enjoying all the fireside chats and the sessions so far in our virtual conference. I am here to do a hands on lab with you all to talk about some of the top brands and how they use creative intelligence to optimize conversions for their campaigns. So, in this session, we'll actually go through a live demo uh, and see that how we move from basic campaign analytics to much more deeper insights into the messaging, copy, imagery, formats, text, and so many other parameters. We'll actually see how to use these best performing creative combinations to lower CAC and improve the spends on our campaigns. So first, let's start with the kind of campaign analysis we do today and the different campaign analytics provided by the different tools that we have, right? So every platform that we use today for any sort of messaging to our customers gives us platform level analytics, right? Whether it's an email platform or whether it's a marketing automation platform or any of our ad platforms, we get platform level analytics. What that means is that for example, if it's an email software, it tells us about the open rate, the click rate, the reply rate, and some other metrics. But we do not get to understand that what inside that email actually led to a higher or a lower reply rate. Was it because there were less or more characters used? Was it because there was a personalized video inside the email? Was it because the subject line was catchy for the user? So what out of these or what combinations led to higher or lower rates of reply or clicks or conversions? We never get to know that, right? Similarly, if we talk about a marketing automation platform, it tells us about views and clicks and deliveries and conversions, but we do not get to understand, for instance, if we have sent out a push notification, what led to higher or lower engagement through that push notification. Was it because it involved a certain type of imagery? Was it because it involved a certain offer that was rolled out, or was it because it was highly personalized to that user? We never get to understand these things from the platform level analytics. And similarly, ad platforms share their own set of performance metrics, but we are not able to go that one level deeper, two levels deeper to figure out what inside that particular creative or copy is actually yielding the performance, right? So none of this actually tells us why users respond to what they see, right? So from the analytics that we are getting to the analytics that we actually need, there seems to be a stark difference, and we actually need to go 2 to 3 levels deeper to figure out the best creative combinations and to be able to conclusively say why a certain experiment worked or why it did not, right? Those parameters could be spread across what sort of format that ad had, or that you know push notification had. What was the imagery used? Within the imagery, did we use a person versus an illustration? Did we use a single product versus a certain product composition? How did typography impact the overall performance of that creative, right? How did the tone of my background impact the performance of my creative? How did my layouts impact the performance of the creatives? So somewhere we never get to understand how these parameters and some other parameters uh, create a significant impact on the performance of a campaign, and we just get some basic campaign level platform level analytics from the platforms that we use. So in today's session, we'll actually try to unearth and go through how we could tie campaign performance to much deeper levels and tie it to some of the parameters that you see today, and try to come up with some creative combinations that could help us lower CAC and improve the overall spends, improve the overall ROI on our spends. So now let us see all of this in action. I'll give you a live demo of how you can use Rocketium's creative analytics platform to actually do a much deeper level of analysis based on the different parameters and different aspects that we discussed in the previous slides. This will include firstly fetching cross-platform level analytics, so data across your Facebook, GDN, any your marketing automation platforms. All of this could come under a singular dashboard where you could do all sorts of visualizations and reports from it. Rocketium's AI will automatically enrich the content that we fetch from your different platforms. So we will automatically add us a few parameters for text and for imagery, for you to be able to do a deeper level of analysis. You could then go ahead and add business specific metadata in terms of the value props, in terms of the CTAs, in terms of a certain combination that you have you've for which you've done an experiment. You could then create visualizations and reports out of this. You could create widgets which could talk about how certain parameters impacted CTRs and spends and conversions and all of those things. How do you take all of these learnings and make new content based on what you see is performing or not performing? How do you then quickly go and make new content across different channels for more experiments? Is also something that we'll cover in the demo. What we'll not cover in today's demo is how you could set your own rules for your creatives and inside Rocketium and generate creative scores for each of the creatives. How you could collaborate and approve and review creatives faster. How you could use Rocketium's asset management system, and how you could integrate with your ad platforms. This is something that we won't cover in today's demo, but Rocketium has all these capabilities. So let's get to the demo. So let's start with the platform demo and actually see what all we have been discussing, right? So once you connect your ad accounts on Rocketium, or any of your accounts from where the data needs to come in, it could be a marketing automation platform, it could be your ad platforms, or any other platform for that matter. Once you've established a connect with that, all the campaign data will start flowing into Rocketium and will get accumulated in this tabular view. This would be a centralized view where across different platforms you will have this singular view where you could collate performance data and all sorts of other parameters that you would want to analyze for your creative combinations. So now if you see here, each of these creatives are going on a different platform, right? So we have the performance data coming in from those platforms. One thing that happens here is that you're also able to see the actual creative for which the analysis needs to happen, right? Now if you do this from different ad platforms, in some cases you might not get the creative. There might be a unique ID or some name or something that you might get, and somebody has to actually manually sit and fetch the right creative and put it in the Excel to be able to perform any sort of analysis on top of that, right? So one smart thing that happens here is that all these creatives are automatically fetched, so you could have a real time view of which creative is being discussed, what is the performance data for those creatives, and what sort of other parameters you want to add on top of that, right? So once this singular view is created across platforms, now like I mentioned, Rocketium enriches the content. What we mean by that is that Rocketium adds a few parameters on its own. It could be parameters around text, it could be parameters around imagery. For example, in this particular creative, automatically it has detected that it includes packaged goods and fruits. In a few creatives it could detect parameters like whether it includes a person or not, right? Whether it talks about a bag or just a simple vegetable, right? Similarly, you could add labels. These labels would get added automatically. There can be more parameters like what was the length of the copy, was it short or was it small, was it short or was it long, right? What was the sentiment of the copy, was it a fact, was it a quote, was it a negative statement, was it a positive statement, what was the emotion of the person in the creative, was it anger, was it sadness, was it happiness, right? So all of these things will automatically get added to the creative once you see this dashboard. If somebody has to do this manually, it is going to be a mammoth task where they go through each creative and create add all these parameters, and they might not even think about these parameters impacting performance, right? But when we go those 2 3 levels deep, we actually will see how these parameters are creating an impact on the CTRs and on the spends, and how optimizing some of these parameters will help us improve the performance, right? So these are some AI based parameters that Rocket Team automatically adds. Then there are a few business parameters that only the business would know, right? So these are metadata information, like what was the value prop in the creative, what was the CTA, what was the language, right? What was the experiment type. So you could manually add these parameters to each of the creatives. You could also do it for a bunch of creatives at once. So we have those bulk editing options here. And once you have this singular dashboard across platforms, there are AI based parameters added from Rocketium, then you've added your own sets of business metadata. You could now create very powerful visualizations here, right? Like let's say you wanted to analyze how is or which value prop is performing the best. You could go here and see the value prop versus the CTR graphs. So you could see that delivery and discount as value props have significantly higher CTRs. Similarly, if you wanted to see how is dominant color impacting CTRs, you could see that purple as a color is getting significantly higher CTRs, right? So now you have this real time info which can be passed to the design team to make updates to firstly existing set of ads, uh, right? And they could quickly do it and update whatever learnings are coming out of these visualizations. And second is these could be larger learnings that can be incorporated in all the campaigns that are upcoming, right? These can be around what is the safe area guideline, right? What should be the image to text ratio for a creative to perform nicely, right? Where should the logo be positioned? All these things could be codified, and could be part of the brand rules that the design team can follow later, right? Once these visualizations are created, so we created a few sample visualizations for this call. You can see here, right? Like the spend per size, then how is or which CTAs are performing the best. So if we look at this data, buy now seems to be the most high performing uh, CTA here, right? Similarly, if I had to talk about which languages are doing well, I could create those visualizations. If I had to figure out CTR per size, all these interesting visualizations and widgets you can now start creating and start taking these learnings into back into the campaign. So let's say if now the team realized that buy now as a CTA and distribution or delivery as a copy is do as part of the value prop is doing significantly better, you could quickly switch to the Rocketium editor, and you could make these updates very quickly, right? So for if you see right now, for example, this particular creative is being set up in multiple sizes and has buy now as the CTA. If you wanted to quickly change this and maybe create one version for shop now as a CTA, because you learned hypothetically that shop now is the high performing version, right? You make a quick update, it gets updated across all your sizes at once, and you're ready with that set of banners. Similarly, if you identified a version where you wanted to include, based on the learning from a dominant color perspective, if you wanted to include or update the background color across all your sizes, you could just quickly go here, and now all your versions all your banners are essentially ready with a different background color at once, right? Similarly, we learned that delivery as a value prop does significantly better, right? So if you wanted to create a version, let's say right now you have get groceries delivered in an hour, you wanted to create one more version with again delivery being highlighted as the key value prop, you can use our AI copywriter to generate a few copies. And let's say I want to generate a few copies for fast delivery, right? The system will create a few taglines, few copies for you, and you could then use these significantly faster, right? So grocery delivery, for example, this is the one that you want to use. You just apply this, and now all your creatives are updated with the latest copy, and you're ready with a bunch of other experiments that you want to do. So now this is how an end-to-end process would look like, where you look at which creative combinations are performing the best, which ones are the ones that are actually eating up a lot of budget but not yielding the right results, and based on that you could quickly update your campaigns that are being run currently, and also take these learnings into the next set of campaigns as part of your brand rules. So with that, we have come to the end of the hands-on lab session. I hope it was helpful and insightful for you to understand how you could do a much deeper level of campaign analysis and identify the best performing combinations to optimize the overall campaign conversions, right? Talking about the key takeaways from this session, I think we talked about how platforms tell us what they performed, but we never get to know how users responded to what they saw, right? So I covered a part in the demo where I talked about how you could firstly pull in cross-platform level data, enrich it using AI or using your own inputs, and then analyze by different elements, right? And the idea was that then you could create these creative combinations, or you could come up with more experiments by combining your best performing decisions, and then how you could quickly implement those decisions by quickly making updates in the creative, is what we covered. I hope this was helpful, and happy to take any questions, any concerns, any queries that you have. Happy to address those. If you want access to the product, do reach out to us. If there are any questions, do reach out to us. And yeah, I'm available at this email ID. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, please feel free to do that as well. And I hope you have a good day ahead. Thank you so much for joining in.